You ever notice how everything just feels different lately? Like you're living in a world that's slightly off kilter, where the rules you thought you understood no longer seem to apply, where the rhythms of life that once felt natural now feel forced, artificial, manufactured. Maybe it started small, a conversation that didn't land the way it used to, a routine that suddenly felt hollow, a goal that lost its shine before you even reached it. But now, it's everywhere. In your relationships, your work, your daily interactions with reality itself. It's like someone changed the frequency of existence and forgot to tell you. This isn't about being ungrateful or pessimistic. This is about recognizing that something fundamental has shifted in the fabric of how we experience being alive. And you're not imagining it. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're sensing something that millions of people are feeling but can't quite name. The truth is, we're living through a massive recalibration of human consciousness, a collective awakening to the fact that the old ways of being, thinking, and operating in the world are no longer sustainable. The systems, beliefs, and patterns that once held everything together are crumbling, not because they're inherently bad, but because they've served their purpose and it's time for something new. But here's what nobody tells you about these kinds of transitions. They're messy, they're uncomfortable, they feel like everything is falling apart when actually everything is falling into place. It's like renovating a house while you're still living in it. The dust gets everywhere, nothing feels stable, and you question whether you made the right decision to start the project in the first place. Most people experiencing this shift try to fix it by going backwards. They try to recreate the feeling of how things used to be. They chase the comfort of familiar patterns, familiar distractions, familiar ways of numbing the discomfort of change. But you can't go back. The old version of you that was content with surface-level existence, that could ignore the deeper questions, that could sleepwalk through life without feeling the weight of your own potential, that person is gone. And that's not a loss. That's an awakening. See, what feels like everything falling apart is actually everything falling away. The masks, the pretenses, the automatic responses, the borrowed dreams, the inherited fears. All of it is dissolving because it was never really you to begin with. It was just the costume you wore to fit into a world that demanded conformity over authenticity. But now the costume doesn't fit anymore. It feels tight, restrictive, suffocating. You can't breathe in it the way you used to. You can't move through the world with the same unconscious ease because you're becoming conscious. And consciousness, real consciousness, is both a gift and a burden. It's a gift because it means you're finally waking up to who you actually are beneath all the conditioning. It's a burden because once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it. Once you feel the artificial nature of so much of what passes for normal life, you can't go back to pretending it's natural. This is why everything feels off. You're caught between worlds, the old world that no longer fits and the new world that hasn't fully formed yet. You're in the liminal space, the in-between, the gap where transformation happens. And gaps, by their very nature, feel unstable. But here's what's actually happening during this shift. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your brain is rewiring. Your heart is opening to frequencies of experience you couldn't access before. You're becoming more sensitive, more aware, more attuned to the subtle energies that most people never notice. This sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. But like all superpowers, it takes time to learn how to use it without it overwhelming you. Right now, you're like someone who just got prescription glasses for the first time. Everything is sharper, clearer, more defined, but it's also more intense. You can see things you couldn't see before, which means you can also see things you'd rather not see. The superficiality of most conversations, the emptiness behind most distractions, the way people sleepwalk through their days, unconscious of their own aliveness, the systems designed to keep you small, distracted, and dependent, the way fear masquerades as practicality and conformity disguises itself as wisdom. but you're also starting to see the beauty that was always there, but hidden. The magic in ordinary moments, the profound intelligence of your own intuition, the way synchronicities appear when you're aligned with your authentic path, the deep satisfaction that comes from living in integrity with your values rather than others' expectations. This is what the shift is really about. It's not about the world changing around you, though that's happening too. It's about you changing in relationship to the world. It's about you remembering who you are beneath all the layers of who you thought you were supposed to be. And this remembering, this coming home to yourself, it's not a destination. It's a process. It's not something you achieve once and then you're done. It's something you practice moment by moment, choice by choice, breath by breath. Some days you'll feel completely aligned, like you're exactly where you're supposed to be, doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Other days you'll feel completely lost, like you're wandering in a desert without a map. Both experiences are part of the process. Both are necessary. Both are preparing you for what's coming next. Because something is coming next. This shift you're feeling, this sense that everything is different. It's not random. It's not meaningless. It's not a phase you'll grow out of. It's a doorway. And you're standing at the threshold, deciding whether to step through. The old world is pulling you back, offering you the familiar comfort of unconsciousness, the safety of conformity, the predictability of living small. It's whispering that you should just adapt, just fit in, just go back to the way things were. But the new world is calling you forward, inviting you to embrace the uncertainty, to trust the process, to step into the fullness of who you're becoming. It's asking you to be brave enough to live authentically, even when authenticity feels risky. It's asking you to be patient with the process, even when the process feels chaotic. The choice is yours, but know this, you can't make this choice just once. You'll make it again and again, moment by moment, as you navigate this new reality. And each time you choose authenticity over conformity, consciousness over unconsciousness, growth over stagnation, you're not just changing your own life, you're contributing to the collective shift that's happening all around us. Because this isn't just about you. This shift you're feeling, millions of people are feeling it too. They're waking up, questioning everything, refusing to accept the status quo as unchangeable. They're choosing to live from their hearts instead of their fears, to trust their intuition instead of their conditioning, to create something new instead of perpetuating something old. And as more people make this choice, as more people step into their authentic power, the external world begins to shift too. New systems emerge, new ways of being become possible, new solutions to old problems appear, the frequency of the collective consciousness rises, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. This is why everything feels off right now. You're not just experiencing personal transformation, you're experiencing the birth pangs of a new way of being human. And birth, any birth, is messy and uncomfortable and unpredictable, but it's also miraculous. So when you feel that sense of everything being different, don't try to fix it. Don't try to go back to the way things were. Instead, breathe into it. Welcome it. Trust it. Let it reshape you from the inside out. Let it strip away everything that isn't truly you, so that what remains is pure, authentic, unshakable. Because on the other side of this shift, on the other side of this discomfort, on the other side of this death of who you used to be, there's a version of you waiting that you can't even imagine yet. A version of you that's fully alive, fully awake, fully aligned with your deepest truth. And that version of you, that's who the world needs right now. That's who this shift is preparing you to become. That's why everything feels off. Because everything is getting ready to feel more on than you ever thought possible. So here's the thing about this shift we're experiencing. It's not just happening to you individually. This is a collective recalibration happening across the entire human family. And the more people who lean into this process, the more who stop resisting and start trusting what's unfolding, the smoother this transition becomes for everyone. Think about it like this. You're not just changing your own frequency when you embrace this shift. You're contributing to a massive energetic upgrade happening on the planet. Every time you choose authenticity over performance, presence over distraction, inner knowing over external validation, you're literally helping to birth a new way of being human. But here's where it gets really interesting. The old systems, the old ways of operating, they're not just going to fade away quietly. They're going to get louder, more chaotic, more desperate as they sense their time is ending. So while you're experiencing this inner awakening, this return to your true self, the world around you might seem to be falling apart, even more dramatically. That's not a coincidence. That's the death throes of outdated structures that can no longer contain the expanding consciousness of humanity. And yes, it's messy. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it makes you question everything you thought you knew about reality. The people around you who aren't ready for this shift yet, they're going to feel threatened by your transformation. They're going to try to pull you back into the old patterns, the old dramas, the old ways of being small and scared and controllable. They'll tell you you're being unrealistic, that you're changing too much, that you should go back to how you used to be. But you can't go back. Once you've tasted authentic living, once you've felt the peace that comes from being aligned with your true nature, the old ways feel like suffocation. It's like trying to squeeze yourself back into clothes you wore as a child. It's not just uncomfortable, it's impossible. This is why so many people feel isolated right now. You're outgrowing relationships, careers, belief systems, entire ways of life that once felt normal. You're becoming someone who can't pretend anymore, who can't play small anymore, who can't live according to other people's expectations anymore. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen. This shift isn't about becoming a better version of who you were. It's about remembering who you've always been beneath all the conditioning, all the programming, all the ways you learned to twist yourself into shapes that weren't you. The sensitivity you're experiencing, the way you can't tolerate certain energies anymore, the way fake interactions make you feel physically ill, that's not weakness. That's your system becoming more refined, more attuned to what's real and what's not. You're developing spiritual allergies to anything that isn't authentic. Your nervous system is literally rewiring itself to support this new way of being. That's why you might feel tired, why you need more rest, why you can't handle the same level of stimulation you used to. Your body is doing intensive reconstruction work. It's updating your entire operating system. And while this is happening, your intuition is getting stronger. Your ability to sense what's true and what's not is becoming razor sharp. You're starting to trust your inner knowing more than external authorities. You're remembering that you have everything you need inside you to navigate this life. This shift is preparing you for something magnificent, a way of living that's more connected, more conscious, more alive than anything you've experienced before. But first, you have to let go of who you thought you were supposed to be. You have to release the need to have it all figured out. You have to trust that this process knows what it's doing, even when you don't. The new world being born isn't just about individual transformation. It's about collective evolution. It's about humanity, remembering how to live in harmony with each other and with the planet. It's about creating systems based on love instead of fear, cooperation instead of competition, wisdom instead of information. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing generations of trauma, breaking cycles of dysfunction, clearing pathways for future generations to live more freely. Every breakthrough you have, every pattern you break, every moment you choose love over fear, you're contributing to the healing of the whole. This is why it feels so intense. This is why everything seems to be happening at once. You're not just living your own life anymore. You're participating in the birth of a new era of human consciousness. And birth is never easy, but it's always worth it. The chaos you see around you, the uncertainty, the breakdown of old structures, it's all part of the process. You can't build something new on a foundation that's crumbling. First, the old has to fall away completely. Then, from that cleared space, something beautiful can emerge. And you're both the midwife and the baby in this cosmic birth. You're helping to bring forth this new world, while simultaneously being born into it yourself. That's why it feels so disorienting. That's why nothing makes sense according to the old rules. Trust the process. Trust your heart. Trust that this shift, as uncomfortable as it is leading you home to yourself and to a world that's more beautiful than you can currently imagine. The best is yet to come.